Yay Networks.
Welcome to another episode of A Sandwich and Some Lovin'.
Hello.
I am Kelly Raspberry Evans, and my husband Alan Evans is not here with us tonight, but A-Train is not in the house. However, I do have a very special guest, and thank you all. I know a lot of you were anticipating her being here on the last podcast. Stuff happened, but we're back on track tonight, and please welcome Chelsea Maxwell to the podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Also known as the Face Matriarch.
Yes, that is my brand, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, we love Chelsea.
Thank you.
How long have we known each other now? Like a year, two? I don't even know.
I think we're getting on two years.
2 years. So Chelsea was working for an office that did cosmetic procedures and
Yes.
things of that nature, and that's how we first met. And Chelsea's done everything to me at this
Yes.
point. But I'll tell you what, the best Botox I've ever had, Chelsea Maxwell, the Face Matriarch.
Thank you.
And the thing I love about you, Chelsea, is you're not heavy-handed with it.
No, very, very easy on the hand because that kind of comes from I'm kind of a wuss. And so there's what I figured out over the years is you can be gentle and still get the job done.
Yeah, because I remember years ago, I don't even remember, it's been so long since I had my first Botox injections. And I remember it would be my heavy brow, the heavy eyelids. And I remember the terror one time when I had an itch on my forehead and I scratched it and my eyebrows shot up and froze.
Sure.
It scared me to death. I was like massaging my head down in the bathroom. I'm like, this isn't normal. And it doesn't have to be that way. But, you know, when it was first coming out, I mean, how long have people been doing Botox? It's relatively
Over
a new
20 years. Well,
really?
No, Botox is back in the mid to late 90s is when it was really becoming a big thing. And of course, as the years have gone on and the more safe that it's kind of been put out there, more people are coming onto it.
Because people were afraid of it first because
were.
it's like putting botulism in your face is what people are saying.
It is a toxin, but it's very safe. In the 9 years that I've been doing this, I honestly have not seen any interactions or any reactions that have occurred. While they can happen, I have yet to see any personally.
Yeah. And I've had good results. I've had, bad Botox experiences and I've had great ones. With Chelsea, I've never had a negative one. Good. But, I haven't always been going to Chelsea. But Chelsea's also worked on me and Alan.
Yep. Absolutely.
We've done like a bunch of stuff. We did what was that procedure where we had our
M-Sculpt?
M-Sculpt
Yep.
with the vibration that like makes you feel like you're doing a million setups.
Yes, and it tenses your muscles up and forms the muscle fibers. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like so much stuff is being done all the time.
Well, technology just keeps advancing and all these fun things keep coming out.
Yeah.
So.
And, and a lot of people are like, we're so vain. You shouldn't be doing that stuff. But it's like, you know what? If it makes you feel better about yourself, I think if you feel good about yourself, it helps. It spills over into all areas of your life.
It really, truly does. And that's actually one of the main reasons that I at first I kind of dabbled into this industry. And then when I really got into it, I fell in love with it for that reason. I actually worked a little small stint in the ER. And I will tell you, I felt almost more satisfaction with this career than I did actually, treating patients and saving lives, which it sounds crazy, but at the same time, in this industry, you're saving lives as well because
truly,
you truly are.
You're boosting self-esteem.
Yep.
You're boosting the way people feel about themselves.
Yep, absolutely.
We get in the mully grubs. Everybody does from time to time, especially after the past year we've had, Chelsea.
Oh,
a lot of people
are
battling depression and it's like, well, why would I bother getting Botox? I'm stuck at home anyway.
Sure.
But it does make a difference when you look at the mirror and you feel good about yourself.
Yep, absolutely. And especially like with COVID and 2020 and, people wearing masks and it's crazy to me how much even more so that we start looking at ourselves because of the, possible depression and possibly getting laid off and all of those things. So my business has actually even picked up a little bit during COVID. I think people have been in that rut and they know they can get out. So,
do
and I love
something for
it.
yourself.
Yep, absolutely.
And if you're doing it for any other reason, whatever your reason is, I'm all for it.
Yes.
Now, before we went on the podcast tonight, Chelsea actually did some stuff on me. Now, we record the podcast on Monday and Wednesday nights, and we're live on YouTube. So those of you that are perhaps watching us while we're recording the podcast, you'll be like, Kelly, what did you do? So I'll tell you, a few years ago, I had a procedure done where I had injections of
Bellafill.
Yes. And, because I'm a guinea pig, I love all of it. I will try all of it. But with the Bellafill, what's the promises of Bellafill,
So
Chelsea?
Bellafill is a collagen stimulating filler. It's bovine collagen.
Bovine?
It's bovine. You
So
actually
I have cow injections?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You even have to get tested before just to make sure that there's, because there was cows that actually had Lyme disease. And so you have to
Wow.
make sure that you don't have an allergy. And so you got to be super careful with that. I used to use it back in the day. I actually no longer do. I've moved on to a different product that's a little bit more secure.
What is the new one?
I love Sculptra. Sculptra is a Galderma product, and it stimulates, it's polylactic acid. It stimulates collagen very much the same way. It's just not bovine. It's a little more natural than getting your collagen from a cow. So
I had no idea that's where it was coming from. Yep. But I'll tell you, when I had the injections done along my jawline and in my chin, because, as you get older, I was getting like this, I guess, indention in my chin. Like a pitting out. I don't know what you call it, but it just wasn't looking cute. And so the promise with Bellafill was that over the years, it's going to continue to produce collagen, which fills in those creases. Now, not everybody has. When I initially got it done, the people who were in the room with me were like, "Oh my God!" The initial reaction was incredible.
It's awesome, yeah.
I had an immediate lift. It filled in the creases. I looked great, and it was fine. But for me, after a couple years, what happened to me, Chelsea?
So one thing with any collagen stimulating fillers, including Sculptra, but Sculptra's on a little bit different basis, you can form what's called a granuloma, which is basically like a scar tissue.
It's a ball.
It's a ball with like scar tissue.
I have balls in my face, people. Balls.
Yeah.
And I tell you,
it doesn't happen to everybody.
It does not.
I've seen some amazing things happen with Bellafill, but
to me, I got the balls.
It can happen, unfortunately, but there's a fix for it.
That's what I was so excited because I just out of the blue, I don't even know how it happened because I didn't think there was anything that can be done. I thought it was just one of those things I was stuck with. And so I was talking to Chelsea about it because I noticed in my jawline, I started getting like this little cyst, it felt like. And I was like, well, that's odd.
And it kept getting bigger too.
It kept getting bigger. And you think, stuff happens in your body. You get cysts and they pass sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And then I started noticing more and more pop up in my chin, and I started thinking about it. I'm like, wow, these seem to be along a pattern. And I put two and two together and realized those were the injection sites that I had for Bellafill. And so I don't even know. I don't think I reached out to you. I think we were just talking about something else, and I just asked, can anything be done?
Sure.
And she said, yes. And so tonight, that's the thing about some procedures, not all procedures. Because I have in the past had some Botox done, and they said there's nothing it can be done. It just has to wear off.
Right.
But for this instance of balls in my face, something could be done.
Right. And they're called, the medical term, granulomas.
or balls in your face.
Or balls in your face, like Kelly likes to say. This is why Alan's not here.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not doing this. But it's true. Totally it's like I had these little balls, and I don't think visible to everybody else. Yeah. But I could feel them, and they were getting bigger. And my fear was, I'm going to have these big lumps on my face eventually.
Well, and they typically don't get bigger than like a pea size. Generally, I've never heard of them getting bigger than that. I'm sure that there are.
If it was going to happen to anybody, Chelsea, it would be to me.
Right. So what we used was it's actually a steroid, and the off-label use for Kenalog is the name of it, is to break up scar tissue. It can be used for scar tissue build up, like what Kelly had
underneath the skin,
but also in keloid scarring as well. So it's been used in that nature,
and that's wonderful because I know a lot of the people, if you have just like a stitch or something put in, you get that lumpy scar. And you've lived with it for years, something can be done.
And some patients are actually very prone to keloid scarring. So, and you'll know, I mean, if you've keloided before, you're pretty much going to keloid with about anything.
But there's something that can be done about it. Yep. And you know what? I've always asked, I did the tummy tuck, and I have a plastic surgeon friend that was great. But I've always asked about stretch marks. And up until a few years ago, I haven't asked him recently. Nothing could be done about stretch marks. Is there anything yet?
There's stretch marks and cellulite are probably the two biggest things in our industry that are very fine line. They're there's things that maybe work for some and don't work for others. I could go into things like as far as creams and things of that nature that people say that they work, but it's more of a temporary fix than it is longevity.
Yeah.
Or there's procedures for cellulite and also stretch marks that, I mean, you can use a laser on stretch marks, but you got to be careful too. Especially if they're the dark purple kind. You can also use scar creams. There's different things that can be used, but honestly,
there's no great fix for it
there's
yet.
no long-term. I mean, I'm sure that there's people working on it on a daily basis.
They'll be a billionaire when they finally figure it out.
And honestly, there are procedures that can be done for those, but you truly have to be the perfect candidate for those procedures. So there are ones out there that do work. You just have to be a perfect candidate.
So it's just time will tell.
Yes.
I mean, because years ago, like I said, with I've always done Botox. I love Botox, but I used Botox for TMJ.
Love Botox.
And there are
for
Botox
TMJ.
you can use for sweating,
Absolutely. Hyperhidrosis is a big one.
for migraines.
Yep.
And my dentist, bless his heart, he said, this could work for you with your TMJ.
Mm-hmm.
I have, I grind my teeth terribly. And I said, but I've already worn down that TMJ joint or whatever it is. And he said, Kelly, you don't know what, and I'm like, it doesn't bother me anymore. He said, but it's because you don't know what feeling good feels like. You've grown used to what feeling bad feels like. So bless his heart, he gave me an injection in my jaw. And I went back after a couple months and I said, I don't feel any different. He gave me a second injection.
Right.
And I literally looked like half of my face was paralyzed. And it was right when I started dating Alan.
Oh, gosh.
And it was right because I started dating Alan in January. This was in April.
Okay.
And I remember on my birthday, it started happening where my face started just like freezing and like just sliding down. And it was awful. And I remember I even called my plastic surgery friend who had done my tummy tuck and my boob job. I said, is there anything you can do to reverse the effects of Botox? And at that point, he said, no.
No.
You just have to
let it wear off.
But the good thing, it wears off. So even though my dentist was crying about it, because he's like, he said, I've never had a patient this happened to. It had to happen to Kelly Raspberry,
Right.
who was making at that point a lot of public appearances. It was so embarrassing. I was on Dish Nation at the time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The TV show, and I couldn't smile fully. I would smile and my face was sliding down. And it was embarrassing, but I knew it was temporary.
Yes. Well, and that goes into, I know somebody had a question regarding can Botox fix the corners of your mouth from drooping downwards?
I have one side of my face is droopier than the other, and I would love to know the answer. Somebody asked, can Botox turn a frown upside down?
Here's the deal. You got to be very cautious when you're of course, anytime you get Botox or any type of dermal filler, you always want to make sure it's from a medical, somebody in the medical profession, a doctor, a nurse practitioner. Because there always can be, reactions to different things and of that nature. And you want to make sure a medical professional is around to be able to take care of that if something does occur, which is very slim, but it can. However, to answer the question, you got to be very cautious with the corners of your mouth because these DAO muscles that actually, when you smile and it lifts up, if you can go here and you can actually make those go up, but what happens is it messes with your smile. And it can, and not to everybody, but if you go to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing or is cautious or, but there's some people that will, watch YouTube and learn stuff and it's scary, but you can watch YouTube here and learn good stuff.
Yeah.
But be cautious because I don't ever like to do that. There's other options for turning the corners of your mouth upwards. And I prefer to do something like dermal filler. I can actually build a structure in the corners of your mouth and actually inject just the corners of your lips to bring that up.
We need to work on that for me, Chelsea.
And it's more permanent that way.
Because I feel like literally one side of my face is higher than the other. Yeah. Nobody is symmetrical.
No.
Nobody.
Everybody is asymmetrical.
But if it gets to a point where it's like ridiculous, like I feel like it is for me. I mean, like one side of my face hangs so much lower. If there's anything we can do, I will be your guinea pig.
Yeah, you got it.
And then if it doesn't work, you just dissolve it.
That's right.
Hopefully.
With Hylenex.
Well, we're going to get to your questions because let me tell
Sure.
you, we had so many questions come
We
in for
did.
Chelsea. A lot of repeat questions, but we're going to get to as many as we can. But of course, we have to take a moment for some of our podcast sponsors, right? So if you sleep with a comforter, especially now, man, it's freezing, Chelsea. What has
is.
happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
We're in Texas and suddenly it got like freezing
Alaska
cold.
decided to come down and visit for a little bit.
Right. So if you sleep with a comfort, you're looking for warmth and comfort. But if you're anything less than cozy, you need something better. And Brooklinen has a collection of comforters and other home essentials so you can live your most comfortable life. Now, Brooklinen started off with the sheets, the most luxurious, affordable sheets you can buy. The husband and wife that started this company, they go to these luxury hotels and they're like, I don't want to ever get out of this bed. How can we get this feeling at home? But then they started looking for these luxury sheets at department stores. It was ridiculous. But they realized that if we do the online, you cut out the middleman. So they brought the cost way down. So they conquered the sheets world. We all know how much we love the Brooklinen sheets. But now they've expanded and they've added comforters, lightweight, all season comforters, which is important, and ultra warm to suit every type of sleeper and lifestyle. There's even a weighted comforter option for stress relief. You know those weighted blankets they're doing now? Have you tried one?
No, but my oldest son was asking about
Yeah,
it.
so they actually, Brooklinen offers those now, a variety of materials, including eco-friendly recycled down alternatives. A lot of people have allergies. They've got you covered with Brooklinen. And their Brooklinen comforters pair perfectly with the sheets, the pillows, the duvet covers. There is a reason Brooklinen has over 75,000 5-star reviews and counting. So treat yourself to ultimate comfort with Brooklinen's Comforter Collection. Go to brooklinen.com and use promo code Kelly. Yes, promo code Kelly to get $25 off. If Alan was here, Chelsea,
He would be so
he would
mad.
have a fit.
Yes, he
but
would.
you get the $25 off with a minimum purchase of $100. That's BROOKLINEN.com. Enter promo code Kelly, KELLOIE, for $25 off with a minimum purchase of $100. Brooklinen.com, promo code Kelly. And Chelsea, we're getting ready to do some Sandwiches and Lovin' t-shirts. And we're asking,
I love it.
because we have certain things we say on the podcast all the time. And I think a funny one would be promo code Kelly.
I think it totally would.
Yeah.
And you should make Alan wear it.
Oh, absolutely.
He has to wear
That's
it.
one of the must-haves for our collection. Okay, so we've got a bazillion questions to get through for Chelsea. Now, again, you can follow her on Instagram at Face Matriarch.
Yes.
Do you have anywhere else to follow you, or is that really the best place, right?
And I'll preface this by saying I'm not really good about posting.
But yeah, you show
at
your real
all.
life.
I
But if
do
you
have
want-
some before and afters on there, and I have a
Yeah.
lot of my real life. So because I love for people to know who I am
As a
and my
mom,
kids, and,
yeah.
and we travel and we have a good time and life.
And
Like
she
what
loves
real
the
life is about.
Seahawks. She loves the Seahawks.
Love
God
me
bless her.
some
God bless her.
Seahawks. Yes, I love me some Seattle Seahawks. But yes, but I did hire an assistant.
Oh, good.
I did. So last week, and so she's putting together some things. Shout out to Georgia and the Peach. She is a creative designer. She's amazing, and she's going to be doing a lot of my little stuff that I don't have time for,
Right.
but I want to keep you guys up. So
So if they DM you at Face Matriarch,
I'll get 'em.
Georgia will at least get that to you if you have any questions.
if it's not me, it'll be her. But absolutely. So and honestly, that's the best way to get a hold of me. I had some little things happen with my Instagram Messenger, and it was acting real crazy, and I didn't get any message, and all of a sudden I had like 100
million.
message, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why did these all come in together? So if that happens and I don't get back to you right away, I promise I will. Just give me about 48 hours.
So at Face Matriarch,
Yes.
we'll remind you of that later. But for now, we're going to get some free advice from the Face Matriarch, Chelsea
Yes.
Maxwell. So listen, I got so many questions. It took me a whole afternoon to compile these. So since Chelsea does my Botox, we're going to start with all the Botox questions you might have, okay? A lot of you have never tried it. You have a million questions. So let's see if we can answer your question right now. First of all, people are wondering what's the best age to start preventative Botox. We had several listeners write, one as young as 22,
Right.
and another 25-year-old saying, I feel like I need it already, but what is the best
Okay.
age to start?
So here's the deal. There's really no magic age that says, hey, I'm 30 and I need to start. Everybody's genetics is a little bit different. Also, too, we live in an age of social media. So we tend to see the, whether it's the Kylie Jenners, the Kim Kardashians, the Megan Foxes, whoever you tend to follow and look up to, and you see their pristine foreheads and lips and all of that.
A lot of that's filters though, right?
Yeah, some of it's filters, yes, but some of it is your Botox and some of it is keeping up and, starting fresh and preventing. So we tend to build collagen through our 20s. We stop building collagen in our 20s, the big, thick collagen. We start to break it down in our 30s. So by the time that we're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, we can break down 40 to 60%. And while we can still build collagen, we have to be, it doesn't just build overnight by itself. So there's different ways you can build it. But as far as to answer your question with the Botox and when to start, I try to stay around the mid-20s. I don't like to go a whole lot younger than that. If I do what's called baby Botox. And baby Botox is when I just say, hey, I'm just going to sprinkle some units in your forehead, and it's like a baby. So you don't want to do a lot, and plus your muscle structure, you don't want to mess that up at an early age either. So you can do baby Botox and still get by.
Now, I've always heard that if you do Botox over the long term, your muscles start to relax and you don't need as much.
Okay, so with that, obviously, whenever you're administering Botox, you're temporarily paralyzing the muscles. I hate to say that, use that term sometimes, but it's in layman's terms.
It's a scary word.
It is a scary word, but in layman's terms, that's what it's doing. It is temporary. You should be getting, when you get Botox, it should last about 3 months. That's what the indication is. For some people, it can last longer. Some people, it lasts less.
Some people are more expressive.
Yes.
Like me, I'm extremely expressive.
Sure.
And so it wouldn't last. Maybe if I get 2 months out of it, I'm pretty lucky. But as a rule of thumb, about 3 months.
3 months is the indication. And if you work out a lot, you could metabolize it a little bit faster.
Oh, there's a reason not to work out. I can't work out today because my Botox needs to last longer. And since you brought up the collagen production, I'm going to skip ahead because we had a listener, Brittany, asked, does ingesting collagen actually help? I've been taking collagen because of hair.
Right.
But is that going to help with skin as well?
Here's the deal. Collagen is the most abundant protein in our body.
And that's what I had the little balls of.
Little scar tissue.
Tissue, but it was producing the collagen that was the intended effect.
Right.
But instead I got scar tissue.
Right. And one thing about collagen, it can't really be absorbed by the body. It has to be broken down into what I'm sure everybody's heard of, like amino acid. So in order for the body to absorb it, it has to be broken down that way. So you can take the over-the-counter powders and such, and
that's what I'm taking.
Yes, and it's not going to hurt you, and it's probably going to help you a little bit, but it's basically collagen is that connective tissue binder, and it's going to help maybe last longer. It's going to help you kind of keep younger a little bit longer.
Oh, so that's good.
But I don't know if necessarily if it would turn somebody around. It's not strong enough that your body can't absorb it like that.
It's not going to
make a huge
reverse
change.
aging, but
Correct.
it will prolong the age.
It.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Well, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Because collagen is all the rage right now. I know. I just saw Khloe Kardashian is now promoting some collagen line. I use Bubs Naturals. I love Bubs Naturals. It was founded in honor of one of the men who was killed in Benghazi.
Oh, wow.
And his nickname was Bubs, and they give 10% to charity, and that's what I've been using. And people have noticed a difference in my hair.
Where I've noticed a difference, because I do take, and I guess I can give a little shout out to Arbonne.
Yeah, go ahead. Do whatever.
I don't necessarily, I'm not a seller or anything for Arbonne, so I can't say that, but I do have a friend of mine that does sell it, and I thought I'd try it. What I noticed is my skin, my complexion was like glowing. So almost like I was pregnant almost.
It's a powder supplement as well?
It's a powder, yeah. You just mix it with water,
It's
shake
flavorless.
it up. It's flavorless, yeah.
Well, you kind of answered a couple of questions. That's what I knew. When she answers one question, it'll probably cover 4 or 5.
Right.
But someone wants to know, how do you know what you actually need? I want Botox to look a little younger, but not what the hell.
Right.
So it's like when you go for that first time, how do you know what to ask for? You want to be intelligent and not be like, just do whatever you want. You want to go with some information in your pocket.
And once again, that goes back to a medical professional that understands the physiology of it all, and what would be best for you. Because just because Kelly might get 30 some units of Botox and that's what works for her doesn't mean that that's what's going to work for you. So based on, I base the amount of Botox going into somebody by several different factors. Number one, it's going to be what their expectations are. If they're just kind of starting out, I'm very conservative and I will always start out something small. Just to get them into the feel of what it feels like for like you not be able to like really move your muscles without being totally frozen. Because that's a mistake that a lot of people
That's
make.
the way I
is
started
they're
out
just
my
like,
first time.
Whoa, when it's too much and then it
And
scares
it
them.
feels heavy.
Feels
At
heavy.
first.
And
If you get it, like when I first started years and years and years ago.
Yeah. So just it all depends on expectations of that person, but also too, you the amount of movement that their muscle makes is really big too, because the glabella muscle here could be is actually the second
The glabella
strongest muscle.
muscles between your eyes.
It's between your eyebrows. Like when you make your mean face, that's the glabella.
Is that the 11s that everybody
the 11s,
talks about?
The ones, the 111s, if you're not so lucky.
Oh wow, yeah, the
'cause some
3
people do.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is the second strongest muscle in your face behind your masseter muscle that you actually chew with.
Okay.
So that's how strong that is. So that typically has to be hit pretty good. Everything else, be very gentle with, because too much in the frontalis can heavy
What's
it
a
down.
frontalis?
Frontalis is your forehead.
Okay.
So sorry.
That's okay. I'm
I'm
here.
talking-
I'm here to dumb it down from people like me.
I would have to dumb it down. And sometimes I get a little excited and a little carried away.
That's okay.
But yeah, so the frontalis muscle, your forehead, it tends to be, it's very thin. So you don't want to do a crazy amount there because that's what can heavy down the brow. So based on your expectations, how much movement your muscles have will all depend on how many units that we do.
Yeah, because I always like to have a little bit of eyebrow movement.
Me too. I like a little
And
natural.
so you're very light touch. And I'll tell you the thing about, I've had Botox for many, many years. And a lot of times when you go, they want you to put ice packets on. I don't like that.
I don't like that
The
either.
ice packets is meant, I get the concept, it's meant to numb your skin a little bit before the injection. But I have a pretty high pain threshold. But the ice packets would give me a headache. I didn't like that. And the only thing, and I said it tonight to Chelsea, she said it's the number one thing she always hears from everybody. There's a little crunching sound that you
Yes.
hear. What is that crunching sound?
So that's the only
the
time
worst
you
part to
hear
me.
that. The only time you hear that is going to be here. It's because that muscle
right
is
between
so
the
thick.
eyebrows.
That muscle's so thick, and also too, you're hearing through here too. I mean, all this is connected.
Right.
So when you're putting the needle there and you crunch through that really thick glabellar complex, that's what you're hearing.
That's
that
the gross,
too. And
honestly.
it's just weird. It's weird.
It's like when you go to the dentist and the sound of the drill is what's so annoying because you can't feel anything. Like you do feel a little prick where the injection is, but it's that right between the eyebrows that there's this weird crunching sound. That is the worst part. But trust me, if it was so bad, no woman would ever go back again.
No. And we used little tiny little insulin needles.
Yeah.
They're tiny. And
So tiny.
And somebody that has a gentle hand, you won't even hardly feel it.
Now, somebody asked, what happens if I am allergic? Is there any way to fix it?
So that's a yes. Of course, anytime there's an allergic reaction, obviously there's medical intervention that can be can step in and take care of any type of allergic reaction. However, once again, medical professional. However, it's very, 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 very rare. Like I said, in the years that I've been doing this, I've never seen an allergic reaction with any type of neurotoxin.
Yeah. And the only negative reaction I had was like when my face was paralyzed.
Right.
But I had a double injection.
Right.
And it wore off.
Right.
I just had to live with it and be
Yeah.
embarrassed for a little while.
Sure.
But otherwise, there's no counter. What's the word I'm looking
and
for?
here's the deal. There's going to be contraindications for everything. For instance, and there was a question that I read earlier about breastfeeding. You absolutely cannot do Botox either if you're pregnant or you're breastfeeding.
Oh, okay.
And so you really got to take caution in that. There's another, it's called myasthenia gravis, and it's a muscle wasting condition. And we absolutely do not do Botox with that because you're paralyzing the muscle. And if their muscles are already wasting, it would be a bad combo.
Okay.
Somebody with MS, Parkinson's, you've got to take very, very good caution in that and be cautious with that. So to answer the breastfeeding question, no, you cannot.
Okay. And maybe you proceed with caution if you have like a muscular.
It's like neuromuscular, disease process. But with the breastfeeding, people ask why if it can't get into the bloodstream. Well, the biggest thing is that no pregnant woman or breastfeeding mom is going to be one of those test guinea pigs.
Right.
You know, who's going to do that? So
Or it's like with dyeing your hair
Sure.
when you're when you're pregnant.
you just got to be cautious. With
Yeah,
any of
why
that.
you wait a few months.
Yeah.
You can deal with
You're
it.
fine.
Now, somebody wanted to know, is there a really big difference between Botox or Dysport?
So that's probably one of the biggest questions that I have. And I'm a fan of both. I don't have a preference necessarily. Shout out to both because I think they both do wonderful things.
But one kicks in quicker.
It does. So Dysport does kick in a little bit faster.
Yes.
It's usually 2 to 4 days versus the Botox, which is about 7 to 10.
Yeah, and I think if you've never had Botox before, that's kind of you're a little bit disappointed because you're like, you think you're going to walk out of the office with this new forehead or whatever. And you're like, oh, I look the exact same. And the next day, oh, I still look the same. But it takes a while.
Yeah, it can. So it takes about 3 to 4 hours for it to settle into the muscle. And then it takes 7 to 10 to activate. And
7 to 10 days?
7 to 10 days for Botox to activate, where Dysport's about 2 to 4. I still tell all of my patients, give it a good solid 14 days just to make sure because everybody's a little bit different.
Yeah, and I've done both.
Yeah.
And I ended up going back to Botox.
Yep. And everybody's body will react to one or the other better.
Yeah.
So, you know, for me, I would say most of my patients are 50-50. And I have some patients that will bounce back and forth.
Now, is it with a Dysport, from what I remember, because I haven't had it in a while, it takes fewer injection because it spreads more? Is that right?
Yes. So whenever you inject Dysport, it actually spreads to about a quarter size, whereas Botox spreads to about a dime size. And that's just because of the dilution. And that gets a little confusing, so I won't get too deep into that because it'll throw people way off.
We just want
math
the
always
basic.
does.
We want the
basics.
surface.
So it tends to spread more. So the whole concept with Dysport was that they wanted a little more natural movement. And then, so you're still getting the same amount of units. It's just a little more diluted. So that way you get more of that natural. So a lot of my men use that.
Yeah. And my husband, his question for you, because he's turning the big 50 this year and he's starting to think about certain things. He has hereditary dark circles under his eyes. So we actually got several questions. A lot of these are repeat questions, but people were asking about whether Botox or fillers can help with dark eye circles or bags.
Sure. Okay. So, and I'll preface this by saying, and this speaks to my conservatism with what I do in aesthetics. So before I'll do filler under anybody's eyes, number one, it has to be a concaved appearance. I mean, it has to be actually inset for me to use filler.
So not
underneath
puffy.
there.
It has to be a sunken.
You really want it to be sunken. Now, if you do have like the extra skin underneath there, or like the extra fat pad underneath there that some people have that they tend to go get like the blepharoplasty done, or the upper and the lower. If they don't want to go that route, you can kind of put filler there to marry all of that together.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away that fat pad or that extra skin, but it can reduce and soften the appearance. But let's see, what was your question again?
About whether
yes.
Botox or fillers for dark circles or bags.
Yes. So the dark circles, 90% of the population is vitamin D deficient. One of the first places that vitamin D deficiency shows up is underneath the eyes. So if you've got those dark circles, go get you some vitamin D3.
Try that first.
Try the vitamin D3 with the K2. I add the K2 because the vitamin D3 works better with the K2. And it is vitamin D3. So go do that. Solid 2 weeks. Get the liquid drops, Whole Foods, Amazon, whatever. Do the drops underneath your tongue because underneath your tongue, it absorbs faster and into the bloodstream faster. Do that for 2 weeks. And if you see a difference, awesome. Then that's what it was. No sense in spending a whole bunch of money on, fillers and Botox if that's not what's needed. Because I'm very big about correcting the problem versus placing a Band-Aid.
Right.
So and then with that, I mean, if that doesn't help, then yes, we can do the Botox and also, transition into possible fillers at some point.
So D3, try that first.
Try D3 first.
Always try natural. I
Yes.
mean, the other stuff is there for you when you need it. Let's see. I think this is because I was telling Chelsea beforehand. I want to let you know ahead of time. I'm going to ask you this question because I don't know what this means. Remember a few podcasts ago when I told y'all that I suffer from really bad cramps sometimes down in my behind, and it wakes me up in the middle of the night. It happens about once every 3 months, and apparently it's a very common occurrence. It's sometimes hormonal, sometimes stress related. But someone asked this question, why or how will Botox injection help with fissures on one's bottom? Now, what is a fissure?
So a fissure is actually a tear.
Okay.
Okay. It's a tear of some sort. So generally with like the anal fissures, they generally will come, generally with either stress. They can come like after a woman's had a baby and she's pushed and that kind of thing. Those can happen. They can happen for many reasons.
It can happen during sexy time.
Yes, I can.
But we wouldn't know about that.
I wouldn't. Nope. So with that, what the Botox is intended to do is to relax the muscle around there, so that way it's not causing that muscle to spasm around there. Because think about it, if you have a tear or a cut or whatever, you tend to tense up because of the pain, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a constant tensing. So what the Botox is meant to do is to kind of to paralyze, relax that muscle, so that way it allows the fissure to heal.
So it is a possibility. I mean, that's a use. So you can use Botox for not
Many
only
things.
relaxing wrinkles.
Yes.
You can use it for perspiring.
Oh, yes.
You can use it-
Hyperhidrosis is huge, and we can do it underneath the arms,
How about in the palms? I know
palms
people
of the
have
hand, and the feet.
in the feet.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Those are the three main big areas for hyperhidrosis.
Now, does it last as long? Like I know for wrinkles, you say it lasts about 3 months. How does that affect those sweat
Same.
glands? It's about 3 months.
It's going to be the same across the board, because that's what the intended use is for, is for it to last, and the indication is 3 months.
Okay, and so then the migraines as well. A lot of people use it for that.
I treat a lot of migraines. So
Where do you inject? Right in the temples?
That's the key is you have to know where your migraine is originating from, because migraines can originate from several different areas, and also depending on what kind of migraines you're experiencing, whether it's cluster, there's so many different types of migraines that you can that are involved, but depending on that will depend on where we actually inject.
Okay.
Now, in order to get insurance to pay for it, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah.
So you have to actually go through, it's a big process. And for the ones that are looking into that, insurance can pay for it, but like I said, it's a huge process, and you have to eliminate a couple things prior to.
But I mean, if it's a lifelong problem, it's worth the effort.
Absolutely. And
Because it's an expensive thing.
Yeah. And I also know some people that have had migraines that Botox hasn't helped. That's how severe they are. And so they're having to go other routes.
And I know you can go to any spa. What is like an average price that you're getting good value for Botox? I mean, how much can someone expect to pay?
And honestly, across the DFW, on average, I would say anywhere from about 11 to 13 a unit is going to be about your
a good
going
price.
rate.
Okay.
Now you're going to get your ones that are going to do the $9 or $10 a unit, maybe a promo special, maybe a new med spa that's starting out. And those are all okay too.
But if you're getting somebody that charges more than that, what are you getting?
You're getting the same thing. It's just
maybe they're paying for the luxury
could
space that you're in.
It could be that they're doing that. It could be that they're paying for experience. I know some experienced doctors that are charging that. Some plastic surgeons that maybe charge that. But it doesn't make it any less or any more. But I would say as long as you're between that 11 and 13,
you're getting a good value for your money.
You are.
And we're going to move on to other topics. But my last question, and I'm sure there's others I'm not asking, but I'm just going based on what we received, is someone wanted to know about how a Botox party works.
Oh, those are my favorite. So you can actually contact me if you want to.
At Face Matriarch.
At Face Matriarch on Instagram. And also, too, my website goes live next week, too.
Oh, good.
Yes. So it's facematriarch.com.
Okay. But if you go today, it's not there.
Well, right. Because I have one little tweak that we have to make. My girl, Georgia, she's finishing that up for me. It will go live next week. So write that down, facematriarch.com. It'll go through every single service I offer, tell you all about it, answer all kinds of questions. And I have blogs on there that will answer a lot of these questions as well if you didn't get to tune in, or questions that maybe that we haven't answered tonight.
And the place where you can probably submit your questions as well.
But to answer the Botox party question, I do have a tab on there that you can click, leave your info, and it will send you specific info regarding Botox parties. So generally we want at least a minimum of 5 people. And it doesn't matter the max amount. I've done Botox parties up to 17 to 23 people. So they're typically done on Saturdays. Really the 11 to about 4 o'clock range is the best, because it allows you, because you can't lay down for 4 hours. So
that's good to know, because like if you get it later in the evening, you're not supposed to lie down for 4 hours. So that's good to do it in the middle of the day.
Yep. And you've got to be cautious with that, because we've had some Botox parties in the evening time that people promise
like,
they'd
I gotta
stay awake.
stay at midnight? What?
Yeah.
Usually wine's involved at Botox
But they're
parties.
fun. They're so much fun because you get your girlfriends all together.
Yeah.
And then the ones that haven't done it, it makes them more comfortable because their girlfriends are doing it.
I'm telling you, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a Botox party, plan it in the middle of the day, because otherwise, you'll be sleeping and sitting up in the recliner that night. Mm-hmm. What is the danger of lying down if you get Botox if you don't wait up that 4 hours?
So here's the deal. What can happen, and it's any of those, is because whenever I inject, or any injector, we place it exactly where it needs to be placed. And if you go to lay down, let's say on your side, it could fall this way. You're going to wake up with a droopy brow on the right side. So it can prevent drooping. It can prevent, where it actually settles at. So that's why you want to be super cautious.
There you go.
I have 3 big things. No laying down, no hats or headbands, no vigorous exercise.
Well, okay.
That's it.
For how long? For like 24 hours?
Yeah. With
All
exercise.
right, if you insist.
I mean.
All right. So I think we've covered hopefully at least 90% of your Botox questions. If you have any more than that, you can reach out at Face Matriarch on Instagram for right now, starting next week.
Yes.
At her website, facematriarch.com.
Yes.
We're going to get to more of your questions. I think this is fun because I'm learning stuff too, and I'm already a Botox convert for many, many years. But before we get to that, got to take a little time out to thank another sponsor. Have you ever used a Theragun, Chelsea?
No.
The percussion device on your muscles.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes.
Chelsea, oh my God. You can own one in your own home. I used to go to the gym and I'd see these trainers. They would charge their clients umpteen dollars per hour to use a Theragun on them. And if you get one of these in your own home, it pays for itself in no time at all. We're all under stress. My thing is my shoulders. And the thing I love about the Theragun that I have, the new Gen 4, because I had the old model and now the Gen 4, is the adjustable arm on it. So I can hold it and position it in a way where I can get most of all of my spots by myself. It always feels better when Alan's doing it to me, of course.
Of course.
But there's different heads that you can interchange, because sometimes you want more of a rounded head for certain, like on my legs if I've worked out. But sometimes, you have that lactic acid that builds up in there. You put that Theragun on there, you can work that lactic acid out. But on my shoulders, I use the more of the cone shape. It's more of a pointed shape to really get in there. Under my shoulder blades is where I get my biggest knots. And I tell you, nothing has worked on me other than going to get a professional massage, which you're paying a ton of money. With the Theragun Gen 4, you can get those spots at home. And they've really improved it now. It used to be really a loud machine, but now it's almost as quiet as an electric toothbrush. It's got an OLED screen and designed to make you feel like you're really holding something from the future. You can go to their site and check it out if you'd like. And they have a Theragun app that learns from your behaviors, and then it will suggest guided routines. We love the Theragun, and I really love the battery life on it too, because how many times have you gone to use something you've had and the battery's dead? You're like, oh crap, I'm hurting now, and now I've got to charge this thing for 24 hours? No, the battery life on the Theragun I've really been impressed by. Theragun is trusted by 250 professional sports teams like Real Madrid and elite athletes like Paul George, DeAndre Hopkins, Maria Sharapova, hundreds of thousands of customers, including Kelly Raspberry Evans and Alan Evans. And you can try Theragun for 30 days starting at only $199. Go to Theragun.com/Lovin, Lovin, right now to get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's Theragun, Theragun.com/Lovin, Lovin. Theragun.com/Lovin. I promise you will not be disappointed. I know a lot of people had that on their Christmas list, Chelsea.
That's awesome.
And they were left disappointed when they didn't get it, but you can get that for yourself. All right. So I have now categorized what I've done, Chelsea.
Okay.
Is I kind of going down the face. I'm like starting with the overall face, and I'm going to do eyes, nose, mouth, body, okay, with the questions that I got most often. So let's start with just the overall face. At what age should you start using anti-aging creams and products?
Oh, I'd say in your 20s for sure.
So my daughter's 14, and this is the thing. What do I, as my 14-year-old, because she has, I'm like, I don't want to make her feel self-conscious, but she has like little blackheads, and I want to help her with that. So when you have a teenager, what do you recommend for a teenager starting out? Because really, with TikTok and everything, they're thinking of skincare already.
Sure. Well, you just got to be cautious with that young of skin. It's still maturing and it's still doing its thing. And you want to be super cautious that you're not using anything too invasive.
So anti-aging for her age, no.
I would say no. I would wait till the 20s. Till that collagen production kind of stops and halts and kind of is starting to break down a little bit. Start it then. Really with like your daughter, anybody, the teenagers, honestly, a really good facial CBD is amazing.
And so parents that might be afraid of CBD, there's really nothing.
There's nothing. There's no THC. There's nothing in it that's going to make them, any different.
I need more.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not that in that realm. But it's great for inflammation. And typically with hormones comes inflammation. So if they can start with just the more natural side of things, cleansing their face, number one. Of course, as an adult, I think we're all still guilty of not cleansing our face.
Well, I think a lot with, like when I was a teenager, I would just, not knowing any better, I would get straight alcohol and a cotton swab and rub it all over my face, which is wrong.
Right. Well, typically what that does is it dries out your skin, which then your sebaceous glands overproduce and causes
more oil. So what is the best skincare routine for a teenager just starting out?
I would say making sure that they're washing their face with just mild soap and water. A good moisturizer is always good. I mean, nothing fancy, nothing over the top.
Sunscreen?
Sunscreen for everybody. You should be using sunscreen teenage and up for sure, because that's preventing. It's not only preventing, but it can also help correct, those the bad rays. And also too, with sunscreen, there's two different things with sunscreen. There's your SPF, which is also, or it's actually going to prevent, your burning of the skin. Okay. But the most important, what a lot of people don't talk about is your zinc and titanium oxide, which that's preventing and protecting you from color. So people can still use SPF sunscreen
and get a tan.
But also not just a tan, they get those spots, the sunspots. So getting something with titanium and zinc oxide too is the go-to.
Is there a brand you recommend or just...
anything out there that, I know a lot of cosmetics now are, I know like even like Estee Lauder and some of the MAC cosmetics, they all have SPF and titanium oxide in there. So as long
just
as
look for that on the label.
There, yeah. And the number one across the world, which a lot of people know, is the Elta MD.
That's what I use.
Awesome.
I don't have any. If y'all were looking at me on YouTube tonight, do not judge me because I had Botox and I had stuff dissolved in my face. I have nothing on right now. I'm a mess, but
still beautiful skin.
You're so sweet. But when I got to, I think my mid 30s and all my base makeup, I realized started to cake on my skin and people are always complimenting my skin, but I use tinted sunscreen moisturizer and I've tried everything and I keep trying different ones and I landed on Elta.
Love it.
And that's been my favorite. Yep. It's a tinted moisturizer with the sunscreen in it and that's the best. So that's what I've been using as well.
And that's usually the go-to in the summertime, like when you're not wanting to wear makeup, but yet you just want to have something on.
Just a little something and it evens out and just gives me just enough coverage. Yeah. Okay, so this woman wrote in and said, I am 38. I would like a facial, but I don't know where to start. It's really surprising, because a lot of people, if you live in a big, like I was telling Chelsea, when I moved to Texas, I was 27 years old. At that point, I'd never had a facial. I did my own nails and toenails. I never had a professional mani-pedi. I colored my own hair. But when you move to a big metroplex, it's all just right there for you.
It is.
But there are so many people that are like, I'm almost 40 years old and I've never had any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So where do you even begin?
And it's crazy too, because I think the old saying goes, the older you get, the faster life passes you by. Mm-hmm. I think we get to that age and we start seeing things wrong with us, whether it's, dark pigmented, skin, whether it's, fine lines, movement in the, in the forehead. And that's when we say, oh my gosh, why haven't I done something?
Is it too late now?
No, and it's never too late.
Yeah.
It really truly isn't, because it's a lot better. But I do say it's a lot easier to prevent than it is to correct. So if you can prevent those things from happening, like taking care of your skin, making sure you're washing your face daily, making sure that you're putting on your moisturizer and your sunscreen. And the two most important skincare things that you can absolutely even put on your skin are like a vitamin C, like it's going to be like your antioxidant protectant. That kind of helps keep out the...
That's in a serum, right?
It is.
Vitamin
And that's
C
the very
serum.
first thing you ever want to put on your face are serums. And then, of course, and then your anti-aging,
Which would be the creams.
with like your retinols. Everybody needs a retinol. I don't care if you're...
Is there an over-the-counter retinol, or you have to go to a doctor?
They're prescribed. Typically, retinols have to be prescribed. However, my favorite, which I'm going to shout this one out too, is Skin Better. It's I have been carrying Skin Better for about 3 years. It's the fastest growing skincare line in the world right now.
It has retinol in it?
So get this, yeah. So their Alpha Ret has 4 different retinoids, which typically those have to be prescribed. However, the way that they formulated their product, it doesn't dry your skin out. So typically with retinols, you dry out and you're flaky. And so a lot of people hate using it. But with this, it doesn't. So the results are amazing. You don't dry out and you can use it daily.
So that's only available through esthetician offices or whatever.
Or medical spas, dermatologists, plastic surgery offices. Correct.
Well, here's what I've learned, and I didn't know. One day I was just like, I was desperate for my Elta.
Right.
And I was like, where can I find it? So I
Sure.
found a dermatologist office near me. I'm not a patient there, but I was able to walk in and still buy it there.
Well-
and I think that's what a lot of people don't know. You don't have to go into a spa and get the full treatment in order to be able to buy
Right.
the products.
No, and you don't. And I mean, if you, I have it. I have an office location up in Denton with Dr. James Cady. He's a plastic surgeon up in Denton now, and so we do have it there. But also too, the facematriarch.com website.
You can order it through there?
Yes, you'll be able to
starting
week.
next week.
That's kind of the last thing that we were waiting on.
Okay.
So it got approved. So all we're doing is waiting to add our little URL
Okay,
that
well,
you
I'm
can
gonna try
click
that.
on. You can click on it, and then you get to order whatever you
Okay.
want from Skin Better.
And you
So-
you don't have to stick with one line. You can combine
No, you
things
can
from different
combine
lines.
things. As a matter of fact, combining things sometime, you got to do what's best for your skin. You might use something of Skin Better, but like something else of SkinCeuticals or, Neocutis or whatever. So you do what, or it could be something from CVS that you like. That's
Yeah,
okay
that's the
too.
thing. It's like
That's
if you're
okay too.
living in small town, we have
Yeah.
listeners from all over the place, and they're like, we don't have these fancy spas, Chelsea. So can I go to Walmart or
Sure.
CVS? What would you recommend if I was going to get an over-the-counter product? I know my grandmother used oil of Olay.
I was going to say that.
And her skin was fabulous because she was around before all this stuff, but she used it religiously.
Sure.
Is there something like that you recommend?
You know what? The oil of Olay, I've heard wonderful things about, and I know lots of people that do use it and love it. So, and that's okay too. It doesn't have to be, you have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars on skincare to benefit your skin, because also too, everybody's skin is different.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to react to certain things differently. Now, if you do use something over the counter that isn't working, it may be time to step up to something else.
Yeah. Is there something you think it's like a complete, like, I know there's always buzzwords or something
Sure.
like, don't even waste your time on this right now. Is there anything like that? Or you can't think of anything?
Not at the top of my head. Just be cautious with things that are too, with like astringents and things like that. That will dry out your
The
skin.
CBD is the big buzzword right now, and you're
I'm a proponent
On
of that.
board.
And I'll tell you why. Because I have a teenager. He's almost 16, and he would kill me if I found out I was telling everybody this. But I did a microneedling because he had acne, like, going through puberty and stuff and all this hormonal acne. And I did microneedling, and I did CBD oil, and I microneedled the CBD oil in. Like literally within a week to 2 weeks, his acne is gone. And his attitude is better, even though he won't tell me that. But his attitude is better with, like, I feel like he has more self-esteem.
well, he looks in the mirror and he likes what he sees.
It's so cool. So I'm a huge proponent of CBD for sure.
Well, someone asked, what is the best treatment for getting rid of red acne scars post Accutane treatment?
Microneedling. And there's 2 different kinds of microneedling.
Because that's what you did on Emma Kelly tonight on her nose, right?
Yes. So we did microneedling. So what that can do is what it does is it breaks the surface capillaries, and that's just your general microneedling. Breaks the surface capillaries to promote and stimulate collagen superficially. So those little microneedles, a little device about this big, has anywhere from 20 to 30 stainless steel microneedles. And what they do is they penetrate the skin anywhere from 2.5 to 3 millimeters deep. And what that is doing is it is, like I said, it's stimulating that collagen, promoting that new collagen growth. And it can get with the blackheads, it can kind of get underneath and kind of, especially if you're doing the CBD, it can take care of that inflammation underneath as well, and those exposed pores. So it's awesome.
Right, we are talking so long. I mean, this time is flying by,
It's
isn't
so
it?
much
But
so,
it's
but-
so much information
and
that's
it's
so
fun.
good, and I know you all want to know. So we're going to try to just plow through some of the rest of these questions. How do PDO threads work? What are PDO threads?
Okay, so PDO threads.
Is that click, click, click thing up in the jaw?
It is.
No, I'm not doing that.
So
I'm
here's-
sorry, I'm not doing that.
Here's the deal. It's kind of like your non-invasive facelift, even though it's still a little painful.
Because somebody told me, because I was like, my face is sliding, and they said you could get the PDO threads, and then they told me it's a click, click, click to get it into
basically
place.
what it is, think about what a barbed wire looks like.
Ooh.
Okay. Even though you're not feeling that, but it's a barbed wire essentially. So when it's inserted in the skin, then those barbed wires essentially are coming back to help pull the tissue back. And they also stimulate collagen as well.
No, I've already had a bad experience with collagen balls.
I've about 50-50 on those. About 50% of people look amazing, feel amazing, and are prolonged. And then I've had 50% of people that it's looked great for a month or two, and then it's
And
not
it's
anymore.
expensive, I'm sure.
It's very expensive.
So
Yes. But there's lots of other things, that
other
can be done as well.
things.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's somebody asked about falling jowls. So I guess
Yes.
that's what these threads would do. So is there anything you could do for falling jowls without surgery?
Yes. So there's several different things out there in the market. And of course, amongst all of us cosmetic aesthetic people in the DFW or in the United States, even in the world, we all use different things. And just because I recommend one thing doesn't mean something else that I don't use isn't good. So I want to say that first and foremost. What I like to use for that, it's the big bad boy. It's called the Morpheus. And so what the Morpheus is,
Isn't he from, what was that movie with Keanu Reeves? Morpheus. What was it? Not Avatar.
no, it's the
Matrix. The Matrix.
The Matrix. We had it.
Morpheus, yes.
So the Morpheus is the bad boy. It's been around for about 1.5 years, almost 2-ish years, but it's RF and microneedling combined. So it's your radio frequency and your microneedling. So what's happening with the big bad boy Morpheus, and the new technology, the new handpiece just came out, and it can go up to 7 millimeters deep, which is unbelievable. That's going to the
Is that going to
fat,
help
y'all.
me? Is that going to help me?
No, yes, but it's going to the fat. So you can actually, people with the actual fat gels, fat can be dissolved and the skin tightening. So in order to stimulate collagen, you have to create some sort of injury, okay? So you can create a thermal injury, which is radio frequency, and that's going to go typically to the tissue, all right? And then you can create an actual physical injury from the microneedles, which are going to penetrate, 3 to 5 millimeters deep. So you are actually stimulating collagen from the inside out. So you're killing 2 birds with one stone. Actually, you're killing about 15 birds with one stone. That's how big bad the Morpheus is.
This is the new thing.
It's
sign me
awesome.
up.
It is amazing.
But I will tell you, and I talked to Chelsea about this ahead of time. Somebody asked about oil therapy. Run, screaming the other direction. I know it's probably worked for somebody. I'll tell you, I have a very high pain threshold. I had oil therapy. I would never do that again,
rough.
ever. It's supposed to help the sagging jowls. It is, and I have like I said, I have a high pain threshold. I was moaning. It was so incredibly painful. They told me while I was doing it, they were very impressed with me and how I was handling it. They said a lot of women get started and cannot complete it.
Yeah,
I got
that's
up from
true.
that table. I was lying in a pool of sweat. It was the most painful thing I've ever done. And I don't even know that I got that much benefit from it. I had a lot of bruising from it afterwards.
Right.
How do you feel about old therapy?
So-
I think it's horrible.
So the pain,
Horrible.
She is correct. It's not nice.
It's the worst.
It's not nice. However, there are new age technology things. We do have self-administered nitrous oxide that can help with things like that.
Laughing gas?
Yeah, they're using a lot in the aesthetics world.
I don't even
now.
know if that would have helped me, y'all. It was so bad.
Yeah, it's very painful. So
It's like a radio. Is it like a radio
it's
frequency?
ultrasound?
Oh, it was awful.
That's actually
Awful.
penetrating pretty much all the way to the muscle. And that's like, there's different variations of what different treatments can do and how far they can penetrate. And that's why people see different results. If old therapy is done properly, okay, that's the key word. If it's done properly, people can have really great results. It's just
I don't
very
think
painful.
I did.
It's
and
just
it
very
was
painful.
not worth. I've never had anything more painful in my life, and I've been through a lot, and I would not recommend.
And no,
that.
I do not do old therapy anymore.
There you go.
But
Base Matriarch ain't doing it.
I'm not
And
doing
Kelly
it.
Raspberry ain't doing it either. All right, really quickly, because I know we've got. I mean,
Yes,
we usually
tons.
do, but we could literally talk all day, and we have. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can
because this is my passion. And
I
love it.
know, and you do so good at it. You're so good at it. And again, we're gonna get all your questions at Face Matriarch, and again, check out our website starting next week.
Yes.
But I'll try to wrap up with as many questions as I can right after this. You know, when I need a little brain break from my day, when I just need to unwind, what does my husband see me doing every night when I go to bed? I'm propped up in my pillow, and I'm going to be propped up for another couple hours because of my Botox tonight because I can't lie down. But I'm playing Best Fiends. Best Fiends is the top-rated mobile puzzle adventure game. Thousands of levels plus new content added all the time because people like me were playing constantly, and it's like how frustrating it would be like, was that it? Was that the last level? No, because they constantly are adding new levels, and you don't have to be a hardcore gamer to love this casual game. I can't play Fortnite with my kid. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But Best Fiends, it's really it's got, you know, it's. You want to have some challenge to it, right? You don't want it to be so easy. It's like, oh, this is boring. No, it takes you sometimes, if you try to get past a certain level, you have to have the right combination of these little fiends to help you beat the slugs and get through these different levels. But it's really fun. And when you do beat that level, you're like, I did it. And you move on. And I love that they have themes, you know, with the holidays, with Valentine's, and they have different little competitions. You can get part of a team. Best Fiends, it's really a great, fun pastime. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's hard for me to shut it off and go to bed because I'm like, oh, just one more level. I can do one more level. If you've been hearing me talking about it for a while, now it's time to finally try it for yourself. Download Best Fiends for free today on the Apple App Store or on Google Play. That's Friends without the R, Best Fiends. Maybe we can compare what levels we're on starting next week. A lot of fun. All right. So Chelsea, we're going to try to just blast through some of these.
Let's go.
Because, you know, like I said, we could probably divide this into 2 podcasts. But all right, let's move on to the nose. What reason would make a rhinoplasty necessary so insurance covers it?
Ooh, so that's a question from my partner, Mr. Dr. Katie. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't answer that question specifically.
That's more of like a deviated septum kind of thing, right?
It's going to be more, yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be
You have to have a medical issue.
You have to have a medical issue. That's just kind of the bottom line with that. Yeah.
How do I get rid of a white bump under my eye? I remember we were asking you about that.
Yes.
Somebody said they have a white bump under the eye that looks like a whitehead, but it's not a pimple.
Okay, it very well could be. And like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I absolutely cannot diagnose anything. I want to make that clear. I did work for a dermatologist for a while, and I learned quite a bit. If you have any type of spot or lump or bump or anything that you're not sure of, most likely it's milia. It's a little itty bitty little
Like
thing.
a skin tag?
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what it. I don't know. I can't see what. But 9 times out of 10, that's probably what it is. But if you're concerned about anything, go see a dermatologist.
Because they can maybe like just freeze it off or something.
Absolutely. They need to make sure that there's, it could be anything. So
Do sclerotherapy or laser treatments work on spider veins on the sides of the nostrils? Little
Yes.
broken veins on the nose?
absolutely. Absolutely. It's actually really good for those little itty bitty little vessels.
I've got them on my cheeks. I'm
Works
getting
on there
broken,
too.
and it looks like rosacea,
capillaries.
but I have broken capillaries on my
That's
cheeks.
essentially what rosacea is a bunch of broken
Yeah,
capillaries.
because you can see them, can't you? Little broken ones, little tiny ones.
Very, very,
but,
small.
but you kind of you're like, oh, but I have
Right.
such rosy cheeks. No, you got broken veins in your face. Okay, lips. Tell me all. Here's somebody asking a real blanket question. Tell me all the ways you can achieve fuller lips.
Okay, so
Lip plumping serums work temporarily.
they're temporary. If you want to dive deep, lips is my favorite thing to do. Absolute favorite thing to do. And I'm very natural. You can go on my Instagram and you can look at several different before and after pictures. And I have a tons more that's actually going to be on my website starting next week that you can run through. And you can make bigger lips without looking Kylie Jenner-ish. You can, even though her lips are beautiful.
She's kind of come back a lot.
She's come back a little bit.
She's come back, yeah.
She has, but there's lots of different things that you can do. It's all about placement of the product. So I've had some of my patients that have used 2 to 3 syringes, but they don't look duck lip at all. It's all about placement of the product. So I love, love, love filler in the lips.
Okay, so
For
filler's
sure.
the number one thing.
Absolutely.
There are implants you can do as well that are permanent.
They are, but I will tell you, every one of my patients that has had those done ends up getting them taken out. I haven't had one that I know of because what they're like little log rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my personal experience, I haven't had good things with patients that have had them done.
Okay.
So lip filler, because here's the deal. Even though you have to keep redoing it every 8 to 12 months, I mean,
Does it hurt though? Does it hurt?
it's tender. Lips are tender. They're very vascular. There's a lot of nerves that run through the lips. But I do everything in my power. I do numbing and I also do ice, do lots of different things. And I'm very gentle too.
And someone asked about the lip flip procedure.
Yes.
I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is.
Okay. So there's a couple different lip flips. The general lip flip is using Botox to actually lift this portion of the lift up and out. Okay.
So you're not making lip bigger. You're just lifting the
You're
lip
just
line.
kind of lifting.
Okay.
So, and that's by placing Botox on the up here, on the upper, and then also throughout the top part
Well,
of the
she
lip.
said she's worried if she doesn't want, she'll have to keep doing it.
No, not necessarily. If you don't like it, you don't have to keep doing it.
So it
That's one
just
thing-
lifts the lip up and then eventually it
Just-
goes back down.
Yes, and it's subtle. So it's not going to be like, oh, wow, what happened to my lip? It's very subtle.
And if you don't want bigger lips, you just want to do something about the vertical lines above the lips as you age. What can you do for
That's
that?
another thing. I love starting with Botox there because essentially those vertical lines are made from movement. Whether you are a smoker, whether you drink out of a straw, whether you're
That's
just,
why my grandmother gave
Yeah.
up smoking because
Yeah.
she heard it was going to give you lip wrinkles. She said, like, that's it.
Yeah.
She never smoked another day in her life after that.
Yeah. And so I like to start with Botox there. Now, the older we get, the deeper they get, we may have to use filler, but either way, they can be fixed.
Okay. Moving down lower, let's go to neck and chin. We've already talked about oil therapy. Ugh, run.
And we've talked about the big bad Morpheus, which I
Yes.
love.
So how do I get rid of my turkey neck? I got so
That's
many
that.
questions about the turkey neck.
Morpheus, you can do a combination. What I love to do and what has brought amazing results for my patients is doing a combination. I do a combination of the Morpheus, which is the RF microneedling, in conjunction with Sculptra, which is the collagen stimulating
Now,
filler.
is there the risk of getting the balls in your face from
There is,
that?
but it's very, very, very
less of a
way
chance.
way
Okay.
less chance with Sculptra than it is that. And I mean, it's very, very, very rare.
Okay.
So-
Does thermal work for fixing saggy necks?
So the thermal, if I'm
I'm just
guessing-
reading the question. I don't know what that means.
So they're probably referring to like maybe a thermal injury, which would be your radio frequency, which is your Morpheus.
Okay. Any non-invasive double chin solutions?
Yes. So I like to use Kybella.
Okay. There were several questions about Kybella, but one more woman wrote, I'm on my second Kybella treatment, but not seeing great results. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, so it depends. Without seeing her, it's hard for me to
yeah.
give her. So shoot me a message, whoever you are, if you're listening. And then if you can even shoot me a picture of you before and everything.
But what should you, because I know my husband, I don't think he would be mad at me telling you, he had Kybella. And at first, his
swell.
neck blew up like a bullfrog.
Right. So Kybella is deoxycholic acid. So deoxycholic acid is actually the byproduct in our kidneys that actually breaks down fat.
Oh.
So as soon as it's injected into the fat is dissolved almost instantaneously, almost immediately. However, because of there's an inflammatory response that comes with that. And if you're just doing 1 or 2 vials, you'll see a slight response, but Somebody that has, excess fat there, we might have to do anywhere from 3 to 5 vials, which is going to cause like that bullfrog appearance. So right now is the perfect time because you can wear a scarf.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So, but you think Kybella is worth it?
I love Kybella as long as it's used properly. I don't care what procedure you do, what product you use. As long as it's being done properly, you're going to see some form of result.
Okay. And as far as the body, what are the benefits of cool sculpting, and does it really work?
So yes, I probably have treated, I'd say over 300 patients with cool sculpting. We had phenomenal results with the patients that I treated. I actually don't do it now. Just because I focused strictly on the face, hence my name, Face Matriarch. But I do like cool sculpting. I don't think I had any patients that it didn't work for. It can get pricey though.
Yeah.
So
if you're repeated treatments,
if you don't want to go underneath the knife and you are absolutely good about that, cool sculpting is a great way to go.
All right. So we have one of our very best customers, Sin. And I know she's listening. She emailed and texted and DM. She's like, please ask my questions. So, Sin, we're going to wrap up with your questions.
Yay. And
this might be repeating some because I'm just going to read because I love Sin so much. I'm 30. I'm embarrassed to admit I don't have a skincare routine. I have oily skin. Every time I try to shop for skincare products, I get overwhelmed. Any suggestions for the best yet affordable skincare solutions?
Okay. So this kind of takes me back to what we were talking about earlier, just a little bit. With the Skin Better. Let me tell you, and I'm not just pushing this product because they've told me to. They have no idea that I'm even mentioning this product.
You're not getting a kickback.
Not getting anything from them at all. But I will tell you, I fell in love with this product tenfold 3 years ago, not only because it is amazing, but because there's not a lot of steps. They're literally, you get what is right for your skin based on whether I do a consult with you or another skincare professional does a consult with you.
When you go to your website and do it, though, do you have like a little skincare quiz so we know what we're ordering is correct?
You can, and that's actually a great idea. I might try to put something
incorporate
in there.
That.
Yeah, and if you have questions, you can always shoot me an email, a message on Instagram, any of that, and I will always respond to you. And you can even send me a picture of yourself. And what your concerns are. And then I can even respond to that as well. I don't mind doing that.
And her number 2 is about chronic migraines.
Yes.
Botox helps control. We've already answered that. Yes. Liquid rhino. Is this really a thing? How much of a change can one really achieve with liquid rhino versus going under the knife?
Okay. So this is one that takes a very, very skilled injector. I am a master injector, which is the highest certification you can be. There's lots of wonderful master injectors in the DFW. I will say that.
Chelsea has trained so many injectors.
I have, and I love training because it's so. I am very passionate about it because I think it's super important to for all of us to be on the same page so we all can be successful. So people aren't scared of this industry because a lot of people are. So. But there's a lot of really amazing skilled injectors in the DFW that do amazing work. With the liquid rhino, it's a great place to start.
I've never even heard of it.
So it's a great place to start. We do chins, we do noses, lots of different things because people don't know how they're going to look post a rhinoplasty. So they get really scared. And a doctor, there's amazing plastic surgeons in the DFW too that can show you before and after, like, hey, this is what you could look like. This is what you're going to look like. It still sometimes for people isn't enough. They want to fill it on their own face. So you can start with the liquid depending on what their expectations are.
What does the liquid do?
So it's just filler. It's dermal filler that we're using. So if somebody is trying to even out the top of their nose, if they're trying to, make the appearance smaller in some areas, larger in the other, our biggest one that I deal with is the hump on the top of the nose.
The liquid can get rid of that?
So you can't get rid of that because that's typically bone.
Yeah.
So, but what I can do is I can add filler down here to make it more symmetrical.
Okay.
And so while it's not making the nose smaller, and again,
it's making it more
liquid rhino is
even.
not for everybody, correct. And sometimes just that appearance softens it so much that it makes their nose look smaller.
Okay.
So it gives them an idea of somewhat of what could be. Exactly. And then if they're happy with that and they want to go underneath the knife, there's that option too.
All right, Sin.
Yeah.
We're answering all your questions, and here's her final one. Sin says, not sure if you know Chelsea, but a lot of listeners are going to be in town the weekend of November 27th. And she wants to know if they can do like a party and get things done on the 28th.
You know what I say?
She also said, edit as needed. I'm typing this as I drink my third glass of wine.
No, I love that. That's amazing.
Sin's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. So with that being said, with parties and stuff, I generally book about a month in advance because people, usually my same every 3 monthers are every 3 months, every 3 months, every 3 months. So I kind of am there, but I can kind of make something work if people are interested. Yeah, if somebody's interested. I mean, if we have enough people that are interested, I mean, why not?
Okay, so if we have enough people that send, listen, if we have enough people that are interested, we'll make it work. She's coming in from like, are you in San Antonio now, Sin? Yeah, San Antonio.
Okay, cool.
So if we have enough people that want to do something, Alan and I will try to figure out a way to make it work.
Well,
so why don't go ahead?
And real quick, I want to say, just so we know, or everybody knows what I could do. So Botox, Dysport, obviously. Any type of dermal filler, okay, anywhere on the face. And then, of course, your microneedling. I have the CBD as well. And chemical pills. So those are all things that those are the 4 things that are mobile. Now, any of the other things, the Morpheus, things like that, those would be office treatments.
Okay, so if it's just those types of things, email Alan and me at podcast@kellyandalan.com and let us know if you're interested in something like that. And if it doesn't work out for the 28th, we can figure out something else another time. But that's just, we'll see if there's enough interest in it. We can maybe do something. But Chelsea, you're absolutely invited to our little get together on the 27th if you'd like to come.
I would love to.
All right. Well, I know we're running over time. Usually we try to keep the podcast to about an hour, but literally we could keep going.
Yes.
Because Chelsea has so much great information and I love that she's sharing it with us so freely because I know so many people have questions. But again, if you want to ask something and maybe we didn't cover tonight, on Instagram, just search for @FaceMatriarch.
Yes.
And then starting next week, we're talking the third week in February, I guess. Right. By the time you listen to this, I don't know when you're going to listen to this, you'll have your website up.
Yes. Oh, yes. It'll be up by next week.
FaceMatriarch.com. Easy enough. And you can always reach out to me if you forget any of that, but I don't know how you can. So Chelsea, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I loved all the questions. And so, like Kelly said, if you have questions, shoot me up. And
DM her. She's happy to answer. And, she's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But she could still help you with questions. Maybe you probably have connections. You can help recommend people where they can go in other parts of the country, right? Maybe?
Absolutely. Well, as a matter of fact, there's a couple different, I have friends all over.
That's good.
And different people that I've trained with. And
that's the thing. It's like, you just don't know where to go. It's like, who do you trust? Who do you know? And if you have a recommendation, that would be really helpful.
And here's the deal. Even if I don't know someone, I will find out someone good.
She's so helpful.
Yeah.
She really is.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea.
Well, I appreciate it.
And thank you. I know Alan just hates that he missed this conversation. No, he was very great. He's like, look, you girls are going to be talking and I'll just be sitting there like a lump on a log. So he's in the other room. But thank you, honey, for letting Chelsea and me take over the A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast tonight. And thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we had your questions answered tonight. And I just appreciate you being part of our podcast family.
Thank you.
Chelsea, have a great night. The rest of you, thank you for listening. We'll be back the same time next week. Let's see, how does Alan end this? In the immortal words of Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich.